John, I see monster metrics in the background. What is that about?
Well, hey, you know what? That is actually a software package that I developed. It's an all-around marketing platform that has everything from email to text messaging to a CRM to an inclusive communications network where, like, all your Facebook and your Instagram and text and voicemail and phone calls all goes into one, and so you can kind of keep track of your customers. So I'm working on building that the software's built out. I'm looking at promoting it and getting it out there.
Interesting. Okay. And is this something you started before joining the real world or after?
Yeah, I had Monster Metrics since 2012, and it was an analytics program, and just kept developing it into what it is today. Um,
Hmm.
and So I'm using the real world to get that focused and get that out there.
Okay. So just to get a full perspective of everything, what else were you doing before you joined the real world? What was your life like?
Well, my business career started. I was a ticket scalper in the hard to get ticket industry, and so I was in that for about 10 years. Had an exit, sold my company. That company went on to become Prime Sport, uh, which is a hospitality and ticketing company. After that, I went into um, I became a day trader and was trading stocks on the daily basis. Um, Decided that it was better for me to even open a brokerage firm, so I did that. I opened a day trading firm and grew it to about 300 traders in San Diego. They were spread out across the United States. I uh, loved that. I got bored with that, and I moved to China to open up a trading platform in China where I hired Chinese traders to trade American stocks and taught them what to do using our money. And that was amazing. I opened 10 offices in 10 months in mainland China, and that started in 2007. And that's whenever China was just opening up and it was like on fire. But then I quickly learned that as much as money as you think you can make, government can make a little change and bury you. And I had all of my money invested in all these offices because I was self-funded. And the SEC made a rule change that was universal that said that any traders that didn't have a license couldn't trade the way we were trading. And so all of my Chinese traders were out of business like that, and so was I. And so I took a blow, and it was hard to recover from. And so then I ended up consulting a company in the Philippines, ended up buying that company, sold that company in 2017. It was a marketing outsourcing company. And I moved back to the States. My parents are getting older, moved back to the States. I got two young children that I take care of on a daily basis. I'm a single dad with two kids and came back to America and was in a rut, was in a rut. And so that's what really uh, you feel like we're on the highest of highs and you get the lowest of lows. And I was, not doing well for the past few years until I found the real world. Got me out of it. Bam.
Wow, I did not expect all of that. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
I've lived many lives. I've lived many lives, and so it's kind of crazy.
mhm. So let's go to the rut phase. You say singled out with two kids. So how long ago was divorced? Would you mind
Oh
saying?
man. So yeah, we moved back. Uh, I'd married a Chinese girl in China, and we were together for 13 years. I was in China for 12 years, and anyway, we came back to America, and it was we had always had problems, but anyway, we had a really bitter divorce that really hurt me financially as well. Um, that the divorce itself took over 2 years to get done. She left. She has very little to do with the children. It's just me and a 9 year old and a 14-year-old, and we just do it ourselves. And so it was quite a blow financially and emotionally. You feel like, dang, what happened. Um, but you can't let that get you down. You just got to pick it
Mhm.
up and move it on. But
Right.
uh, that's always ongoing, right? That happened in 2020 during the pandemic, so it was very recent.
So yeah, that obviously contributed to that rut phase. And then how did you get out of it? Because I'd imagine that was yeah, a very low point in your life. So yeah.
Yeah, you know what? It really was. And you search for, what speaks to you. You got to at that particular time, you got to find your tribe. And it's funny because I came across some messaging by Andrew Tate, and I was like, you know what? Why is this guy getting a bad rap? Everything he's saying is absolutely true. When you want to empower, when you lose your masculinity, right? You want to get it back. And I had it before. I've lived that life, and I'm like, man, I need to get back into it. And so, I mean, obviously, uh, uh, Andrew Tate speaks to a younger crowd, but man, it can touch anybody. So I jumped into the real world back in October is when I joined.
hmm And how have things developed for you since you've joined?
It's been great. It brings me back to the time where I had a really good network of go-getters and friends that were all going for the same thing, and that was like personal and community success. And so when I jumped in, it was like, whoa! First of all, information overload, right? I mean, there's so much there to choose from to focus where you want to go. I think that what really got me even just immediately grounded and into everything was going through the business mastery with Professor Arno, watching the videos, watching Tate in the videos. I really got focused, and that's what began my journey.
hmm So what about it helped you get focused? Again, I want to continue down this line.
Okay, sure. Um, well, what I learned even in the first week really changed what I was thinking and where I needed to be. Because if you go back and you're watching those first videos where Andrew Tate is talking about, you know, get the money fast, don't overthink it. And then Professor Arnold would come in with a great way to apply that and a great lesson. And so what I started doing is taking that to myself and saying, what am I doing? Why am I over analyzing every single thing that I want to do? Like if I put up a website, it's got to be perfect. I'll work on it. And it's like I won't even start promoting it for weeks because it's got to be absolutely perfect. Getting the money in and getting it fast was like, oh boy, this is what I need to do. Because at the time when I'm looking, I'm broke, man. You go from up and down, and when you're a brokey, you got to get focused. And that really helped me along my, just to say, hey, mind shift, take action, get going.
Mhm. So did you start any businesses or anything along those lines since joining?
Yes. So I've had my software company, Monster Metrics, and that's really capital intensive because you got to reach a wider area, and it's software, which is great. Uh, so that's kind of cooking along now. But what I want to do is kind of get back to what I did with bespoke digital marketing. And the freelancer campus really got me focused into doing that again. So that's where I was like, okay, I want to get back into that business, and I don't want to do it in a cheap way. I want to find the right customers. But you have to get your confidence first, and that's how Professor Moneybags really helps you. Like, hey, keep it simple, take action, and work your way up. Luckily, I had already had experience, and I knew what I was good at, and I knew a lot of skills that are being taught, and so I kind of had a jump on that. But I also went through all the courses to see what was relevant, and there's things that I picked up even being in the industry. I was like, man, this is great, and so help me decide. Just get your first client, doesn't matter what it is. And so my first client was in the real estate industry, um, and that brought me to another client who's in the mortgage industry, right? And then I found another client that was in the recruiting industry. And so it kind of just started evolving. And, the referral and do it. Then when that kind of slowed down, I had to go to cold outreach. Um, and that's where I really took seriously finding your niche and going after a niche that you enjoy, that you're good at, that you're interested in, and went after that pays. I wanted to get clients that could afford three, four, $5,000 a month. I found that in this industry that I'm in that niche, and I'm trying to exploit that. And now I'm about to launch a complete agency that is only in that niche exclusively.
Hmm. And would you be comfortable revealing figures from that agency so far?
Sure. So I'll give you my history just with the real world. Like I said, I signed up on October 9th. That's whenever it opened up for me because there was that waiting period when it was being relaunched. And I mean, I was dying to get in. And so when it opened, I basically went in and started taking the courses. And really, November 1st is whenever I got my first sale. Okay, I kind of if you're thinking about if you're in the real world, you probably get a better win before I did or sooner. I was just overwhelmed with kids, this and that in my life. So a lot of other people get in the first week they've got like wins posted. I got mine around the first week of November, and since November until today or yesterday, I brought in $42,160, I think, in 35 cents or something. I keep meticulous records for taxes and stuff like
Hmm.
that. So um, that's where I'm at with just going after the digital market. That doesn't include any of my software business or anything like that. Just with what I've done with the real world was 42 grand.
Right. So yeah, that's something you're doing on the side, not even your main project, right?
That's right. That's right.
Mhm. So yeah, very nice. And I'd like to go a bit more in depth into so the resources you have within the real world or the material, the professors, how
Mhm.
different is what you learn within the real world compared to maybe what you can find out on the internet?
That's a great question. That's a great question because, we can all base it down to you can find anything on a YouTube channel. You can find anything, how to invest in crypto or how to do online marketing. It's out there. The biggest difference that you'll find with the real world is that you're surrounded with a community. You're surrounded with the ability to ask questions of the captains or the professor. You're able not just to receive information, but you're there to interact with the information with others that are also doing it and helping you through your challenges. I like getting, I mean, I get on there and I've got a lot of experience in a lot of different things. I'll see a student that's asking a question about, hey, what's the best place to get a domain name or naming my company? And I'll jump in there and help them. And it's that spirit that you have within the real world that is different than just finding information on the internet and being alone. I think that is the if that is that that may be one of the if not the biggest advantage to the real world,
Mhm.
in my opinion.
And then there's obviously other things as well, such as all the useful information is condensed within a
One spot.
just one
Yeah.
area. Yeah, instead of having to scour the whole internet trying to find like the separate things. So I
Oh, I
mean,
totally
other things,
agree.
yeah.
I totally agree. One of the things whenever after I was into the freelancing campus was I opened up the crypto campus, and I'd been an early adopter of Bitcoin. Listen, when Bitcoin was 400, I was buying, and I bought it all the way up until I sold everything when it hit 20,000. This was back in like 2017, I
Mhm.
believe,
So
and
the
I
peak, yeah,
got
I
out.
remember the
I
peak of
thought it was peaking,
2019,
and
yeah.
man, I was rough. I needed the money. It was like one of those things where it's like, dang, big payoff, great. I didn't get back in. And so I feel like I've missed a big ride. I just didn't financially, I couldn't get back in. Like, many of us, we get in that
Hmm.
spot. Well, now that I'm in the crypto investing campus, Professor Adam is awesome. I mean, these guys know what they're doing. Listen, I used to own a stock brokerage company. I mean, I know everything about stocks and investing in this. And I still pick up things, because when you're out of the game, things change. Just because you thought you knew something before, man, this world is moving at an accelerated pace. So the things that you can pick up in the real world are great. And now I'm just on fire, watching the moves and seeing what's going on with crypto. I love it. I love it.
Hmm.
I'm trying to put my money in.
Right. Great. So yeah, so far very happy with all your answers. Very interesting.
Thanks.
How different? On a more personal note, now, how different is your average day now compared to before you joined the real world?
Oh man. So, you know, um, I want to be really upfront and not hold anything back, because I think if this touches one person when they're watching the video and it helps them, whether they're young or older like I am, I think it's great. But I was in a real rut. I mean, real bad, before I joined. I wasn't waking up on time. I was drinking. I was, over. Like, I, I hit a high of 265 pounds, and it was just depressed and everything. I had already started to get on a weight loss program, where I decided I'm going to start eating right and cut out the drinking before, because I was watching the Tate videos prior to joining the real world. And I started that journey in July 3rd of last year. And I've lost 70 pounds between then and now, right? And I do attribute that to Andrew Tate in the real world, because it decided, you know what, you got to get off your ass, and so I did. And so I started picking it up and going. Now I have a 4 a.m. wake up call. I get up. I'm doing push ups. And I mean, it's kind of crazy, but it's like, I was going to the gym for a while. Then I'm like, you know what? I don't need to waste the time of going there and back. I'll just do it at home. The newest, the fitness campus on the real world, awesome. I'm using the body weight exercises. Um, I feel like I'm on top of the world. I don't drink anymore. I'm not. I mean, my worst vices are sparkling water and coffee, and so that's really, it just changed my life completely. It really did. I mean, from wake
Hmm.
up time to when I go to bed to what I put in my brain. I mean, I do my lists, like they say. Have your tasks the day before and be ready to knock them out. Cut out social media crap. I mean, I'm not. I mean, I'm completely focused now, so it's really been a blessing. And I just, I want to thank all the professors and Andrew Tate for what they've done. It's great.
Right, right. Beautiful. I love hearing stories like yours
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the impact is the real world has had on people, and Andrew Tate as well. So, is there any more to say?
I think I've covered most of that. I think that the biggest thing for a lot of people to realize is that it doesn't matter how old you are, young or old, to get in and straighten up your life and take advantage of a lot of the things that the real world has to offer. I'm not trying to be a commercial for the real world. I'm just saying how it's affected my life and even my kids, and the people around me. Um, Whenever I come across a friend from the past that pops up, and they're like, "What's going on?" I tell them what's going on. They're like, "Wow!" And I'm like, "Hey, if you want to do the same thing, jump in, man. It's great. It's a great community. It's terrific."
What impact has Andrew Tate had on you personally?
Oh, personally,
Yeah, is there any more to go into that, or have you already covered it?
if there's one other thing that I think that Andrew Tate has in his experience is related to me, was that, when you think that things are going bad, or you think that, actually, when you think things are going great, they're going terrific, and you're just piling it on, you're doing great, money's coming in. Anything can happen and anything can step in and smash you. It happened to me, right? And I didn't recover. I didn't have the mental wherewithal to handle a big hit. And I see, what happens with Andrew Tate. Once you start getting bigger, they come after you, right? Going after and deplatforming him. When that happened, I was like, dude, what happens now? Because this is rough, right? You got everyone saying you're this, you're that, all BS, and you get deplatformed. You know what? He just powers through it. Having that mindset and having that doesn't matter. You got a problem, I'll do it myself, right? I'll go to this platform, I'll do this, and it grows. And you can't put him down. The recent things that are going on with him, with the accusations, whatever, man, the things that happen, doesn't matter, come out stronger. And so you take those lessons, and I can feel it in my life, and I'm like, you know what? I think I could face challenges like that right now, and that's and being able to see someone who's doing that, that preaches it and teaches it, is rare in this world right now.
So now back to the real world. What would you say was your biggest challenge when you were implementing the lessons you learned within?
Well, I really believe that when you come into the real world, one of the challenges that I faced was overload of information. You
Mhm.
got to really decide what are you going to pick, because sometimes you come in and you go, man, I want to do all of them. It's just not going to work. You've got to find something that you're deeply interested in and go after that. And it's okay to change. Hey, this isn't for me. Then move out. If you're into e-com and you decide, hey, I'm not really into e-commerce, let me go into freelancing. You can change. It's not that big of a deal, but stick with one. Focus in and hit that. That's the biggest challenge, because we always have that shiny, um,
Object syndrome.
yeah, shiny objects. Oh, hey, look at this, or that's the biggest challenge, is keeping that focus and execution.
Right. Okay, good. Now, bigger question. What have been the three biggest lessons you've learned from your time within the real world?
Okay, the biggest, three biggest lessons. Number one would be get the money fast. Don't dilly dally. Don't think that everything's perfect. Get the money fast, because you get the money fast, money greases the wheels to make things work quicker. You have more capital to work with. You're not so stressed with money. So get the money first. That was doesn't have to be perfect. Just do it. Number two, I think that I learned from Professor Moneybags. Keep it simple. You know, don't think about Star Wars. That's out there. Think about what's right in front of you, what you need to do to execute the one thing that you do great, and go that route. Um, for me, it was like, okay, I want to do the digital marketing. Well, I can do it all. I can build, I can do SEO, I can do this. Hey, you know what I did? I just went after Instagram and managing Instagram accounts, right? And when I did that and got great at that, then it moved on. But I had to focus on that. So keeping it simple. And then I think the third biggest lesson that I learned was, you know, you got to work every day. Like, you've got to commit, and you've got to be on it, where this isn't a hobby. This isn't something, this is real life. You only go around one time. I spent a lot of time wasted watching TV or just fluffing off, oh, I've got some money in my pocket. I don't really have to work hard this week, whatever it may be. And you know what? You don't get to the next level. If you want to level up, you just got to, like, just dedicate yourself. Like, I'm going to work no matter what. I'm going to be up at 4 a.m. myself. I'm going to be up at 4. I don't care if it's Sunday morning or Saturday, whatever. I'm still going to be up, right? I got my time I go to bed, but it doesn't matter if I stay up late. I make my wake up time. You got to dedicate yourself to putting the work in, whether it's your workout and getting your body back into shape, or working on doing your studies, getting the studying done, getting the work done every day. There's plenty of time to play later, but dedicate yourself. And those are the top three.
Hmm.
Money fast, keeping it simple, and then working hard every day. That's it.
Right. So where do you think that mindset came from? Of pushing so hard to achieve more, doing more, waking up at 4 a.m. There's a big contrast there between the rut you were in and where you are now. So what is it within like a person that causes them to strive so much?
That's a great question. And um, I think in my case, uh, I had responsibility, and I needed to take that responsibility seriously. When I went through my divorce, all of a sudden I'm the primary caretaker to my two kids that are young, right? And 9 and 14, they're relying on their dad and their dad only. And I could either make the choice where it's an easier life, where I'm fluffing around and whatever, or I can level up and give them the kind of life that they deserve, and be the leader, be the teacher, right? Show, getting up at noon and stuff, and the kids are there on a Saturday, like, what kind of dad is that? And so I realized, hey, what what do I want? How do I want them to grow up, and what do I want them to be like, as well as people who I'm surrounding myself with? Who am I around? And you become who you're around with your friends? Well, I decided, I've got to only focus in on those people and those activities that level me back, because I've had a good history, and I've had a lot of fortune in my life, and I was at the peak of my game. Why am I not there now? So I've made that change, and being driven to do that is surrounding yourself with the right kind of people. The real world, I didn't have that network. I was gone from the United States for 12 years, man. I came back, and even though I'm in my hometown of Austin, I didn't have that network of like guys that I used to have in the States. I found that in the real world. There's that possibility of hooking up with guys, doesn't matter where they are, that can level you up. And so, that's really what took me out of it, was getting focused, responsibilities that I need to do, and where I want to be in life. And man, you see some of the stuff that these guys are doing, you can do it too. It's just a matter of putting your mind to it. You can do it.
Mhm. Right, love that. So I know I briefly asked this before. I'm just wondering, is there any more to add for where do you see your life heading in, let's say, 6 months to 1 year with everything you're doing?
Well, I can tell you exactly where my life is heading, because I've got my goals, and I am every day pushing to get there. For instance, right now I'm living in Austin. I wanted to live near my parents. Been here for 6 years. It's not the best place for me and the energy. I used to live in San Diego on the beach, and well, 2 blocks off the beach. And I want to get back there. So we are doing everything right now with that one goal in mind. Um, we plan to be in San Diego. I found a house that I identified. It's really close to the beach, not as close as I was before, but we will be there by July 1st. I don't care what it takes. Whatever it takes, we're going to be there. So, if you ever look up La Jolla, California, it's a little suburb of San Diego in the middle, and it's the most beautiful place on earth to live. I'm going to be back there. That's where I'm driven to be. Financially, I've got my goals on what I want to be earning per month and for the year, as well as my investment goals. I'm just going to make it happen. There is no choice. You'll find that when you're working on getting when you're working on everything, making yourself better, you get those setbacks, but being able to jump in and get inspired, and having a group that's around you that's doing well, it matters. I mean, when you get down, have you ever, when you get down and it's like, man, I haven't made a sale. What am I doing? Am I doing okay? Get in there and jump in on the wins, because people post their wins. And I don't care if it's like the guy's first week and he brought in $100 in cash or $50 in cash, whatever it may be. It's like, dang, he's taking action, right? And then you get deeper and you see the guy's like, hey, I did 32,000 this month, and I just got an investor in my company. And like yesterday, I read something about a brother that had, a guy that committed $500,000 to his company and 450 to get to, but he has 500,000 of liquidity behind him. Man, I love that. That would be great because I could grow a lot of stuff with some capital. And it's just like when you feel those wins, it gets you out of your deal, and you're like, it can happen. So that I know where I'm going to be, and you should too. If you don't have that focus, you got to get it because otherwise you won't know.
Hmm. Right. Love that. So, John, great interview. I only have one question left. So, to end off,
Okay,
for
hit me.
people who are still on the fence about joining the real world, maybe they're thinking, for those $50, what if I'm going to
Oh
get
God,
scammed?
yeah,
What
right.
advice do you have to them?
All right. Well, it's funny because I told my friend yesterday that because he called me up and he said this is very relevant. So I appreciate the question. A buddy of mine that I've known for 20 years called me, and we were talking about things, and we hung up the phone. He called me right back, and he goes, "Hey man, I got to know, what are you doing? Because you're like a different person. Things that, like, I get inspired talking with you on the phone. Like, what are you doing?" I said, "Man, I'm in this group. I mean, it's a great group." And he's like, "Well, what is it?" And I said, "Hey, it's called the Real World." And he's like, "What?" And, he's like, "Andrew Tate stuff?" And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, it's the real deal." And you know what? It's funny because he joined. I said, "Hey, go and join." He joined. I mean, he literally said, "I'm in." And as soon as he said, "I'm in," I said, "Okay, we'll get started. But first, go do 100 push-ups, and then email me back." But I'm going to tell you, if you're sitting on the fence and you're worried about, like, "Hey, is this a scam? I hear this stuff." That's all BS, man. Jump in. What are you going to lose? $50? I know that's, for some people, that's a lot of money. I mean, it's not insignificant, but I will guarantee you that if you get in and you execute on this, just the studies, I don't care if you're a brokey and you got no money at all, you can get that money back quick. Okay. Um, I mean, I've seen the people who are really in desperate need just smash it in the group. So take action, man. Join, get it going, and hit me up. I'll be glad to help you in there. I mean, everyone else is, just so get in and get to work. It's really true.
Right, 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 right. Great answers. So, for anyone who wants to find out more about you or contact you, where can they do so?
All right, my personal page is jwkirkland at .com. You can hit me there, and that's got my link tree. And also at monstermetrics.com. Either one of those. So I appreciate it if you hit me up and follow me or contact me. Whatever I can do to help anybody here, I'm here for you. I got that leg up. I would love to give you the same leg up.
Awesome. So I'll add those to the description of the video. Anyone interested can check that. And John, I look forward to doing a follow up with you in, let's say, 3 months or so. The
Sure.
progress update, see how things are scaling. Maybe you're a millionaire by then, who knows?
Hey,
And
you know what? Maybe we'll do it from the beach in San Diego, at least
oh,
from the house. So
wouldn't that be
that's
great?
where we want to be July 1. So we'll be there. We'll be
Good,
there.
good, good. Okay, so yeah, I wish you all the best and until next time.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.